Hey guys, I'm Jake McNeal. I'm the creator of Crosswalk the game, and you're watching the 5th devlog episode for my new and upcoming game, Crosswalk Joyride. On the last video I got a comment from a YouTuber, I believe his name is Fairly, I could be wrong, but he was basically, well, he just let me know that my font sucks.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine, and you're not really fine, but you just...
And there's a few reasons for this that he brought out, that he mentioned. So, such as when like a word is going, it kind of looks like it's going up and down. And this is a custom font that I made, and it's the first one I've ever made. I've never made a font before this, so I can see why there's problems. And I get why he's saying this, because like, if you look at like the H, it looks like it's a step down from this. And then like, especially like the C almost looks like it's a capital letter, because it's so much larger than the K next to it and the D. So it kind of looks like it goes up and down. And so I solved this by just raising these and fixing some of the letters. I mean, I had some problems with it anyway, like with some numbers. Like, if I'll show you, so like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. So that's what my numbers used to look like. And I've changed that to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. Okay, so on a few things, like this, you know, what happened when like the score was going, that it was just shifting like this because the 1 isn't the same size as the rest of the numbers. So I made a platform for the 1 to be on, and that solves it. That makes it a lot better. There's a couple other things that I liked more. So like, say I was to put like a G, a lowercase g, and then, you know, have a big G. You'll notice that the letter will go down now, whereas before, if I was to do it, it would be on the same. And that's because I didn't know how to make the letters go lower than the other ones. So like, it would happen on like a G, a P, and a Q is basically the only one. Oh, and a Y. Yeah, you can see the difference. Oh yeah, like my Y used to look like that, a capital Y. And then here we would have my new Y's. So, I mean, the uppercase is similar, but the lowercase follows the format of the G. It just looks more uniform when you're typing something. So like if we were to type a word, I don't know, something that ends with a Y, it's just like silly. Look how terrible that looks. The I isn't as tall as the L, the Y is just, I mean, it's like an uppercase letter. So, I mean, and if we were to do silly now, it looks a little better. Yeah, I mean, I like it. I think it's a little scrunched at the top maybe, but I like it, and it's custom. I made it myself. So no one can do a copyright strike or anything like that, which is nice. So after I finished putting all of them into the TextMesh Pro, and I changed everything in the game to fit that with the new font. I did have to I had to rework some images, and that led me to realize that my logo wasn't good. So this is the old icon that I had versus the new one. So you can see I kind of like just refined some things with it. So there's more clarity. I got rid of okay, so with the first one, I had these black lines separating each part to make it kind of look more like a 3D object, I thought anyway. But the problem with it, with what I was doing fake 3D. So like the farther away it is from like the center point, the more pixels it would show on the edge. So like that, there and there. But the problem is, so like this one has 3, this one has 2, this one has 1, and then that kind of left, this one didn't have any, it just had like a black bar. Same with this one, and this is the one that's stationary, didn't have anything. And I mean, it just doesn't really look good. And then also this is, because this was my old font, this was actually a font before the one that I changed it to. This is the Crosswalk font that I used for the original logo on my original Crosswalk the game. Just a little bit updated for this new design. But the problem with this also is this K. I didn't like how the lowercase k looked back on my old font, so I kept it as an uppercase K. And so like when the commenter, or Fairly, I should say, looked at this, he's probably like, wow, it's like a capital, then it goes lower, and then it's a big capital again. And it's because that is a capital. That's a capital letter. I changed that, so as you can see now, it's a lowercase, and I cleaned up the image. I took away those black lines, which gives me one solid line that I can use on all of these, which just makes it look a lot cleaner. I also connected all of the boxes together so that it looks like a more unified shape. I liked it when I first made the Crosswalk logo. I liked it how it was different shapes kind of put together, kind of making it look like, I mean, I can show you. It's like different shapes. You can see how like they're not connected. Like this yellow piece won't touch this piece. It kind of made it look like different floating objects. And I used to like that. I don't like it anymore. And also, I mean, when you look at this Joyride, it just looks, I mean, it looks pretty bad in comparison to the new one. It's the updated font. I also made things more structured with like the outlines. I made it match the top. I wanted it to be different for some reason before, and I just don't agree with that necessarily. So I changed that, and I think the logo is looking a lot better. But following that, I came back in and I started working where I left off before, not on the font, but where I was on the last video, which was working on the upgrade icons, not the icons, but like their 3D models that I was going to put in the game. So then after making the models, I had to import them into the game, and I've just placed them temporarily. I still don't know how I want them to necessarily spawn in the world, but for now, for testing purposes, I've just placed them all on tile 1, which pops up regularly so that I can test them all. And then I began to work on some functionality for them. So the first one I did was the special coin. And this coin, once you grab it, it's just set as a trigger with a box collider. And so when you collide with it, it just deletes the game object so that it doesn't stay in memory and it goes away. And then it just simply adds to your coin value of what like the tier you're on allows. The magnet was a little bit more difficult. I had to first figure out how I wanted the coins to go to it. I ended up using a box collider. I just thought it was easier, bigger, so just all around encompassing a bigger area, and set it as a trigger so that other like rigid bodies don't affect or aren't affected by it. Have that trigger accept other triggers such as the coins, and once that happens, it sets it to its parent's location, so it'll update its location based on the parent, and it'll just travel that based on the speed. And I set the speed to be fairly high at like 75, and this will make it so like if you're like high above it, or like if you came into it and it was behind you, it'd still fly you fast enough. But after that, it wasn't clear that you even had the upgrade, and I haven't done any sound effects or any music for this game yet. But there needs to be a way so if the user had his volume off, that he could see that he had the upgrade and it was currently active. So this needed to be done, and I decided it had to be done with particle effect. So what I wanted to do was, magnets, they go in and out like a pulsing thing. So my first one that I created was this effect that kind of went like vroom, and then disappeared, and vroom, disappeared, and that wasn't, it worked. I didn't like it all that much because it, as much as I thought it was like pulsing, it really wasn't pulsing that much. So I created this other effect that was based on the other one. I just duplicated it and mimicked it, or changed it a little bit just so I wouldn't lose the other one. And this one did a better pulsing. Instead of like the multiple things that would flutter in and then disappear, I had two particle effects that would go out, and then when they get out there, they come back in. go back out, and then come back in, and go back out. And that looks more like a pulsing. And I chose the color blue just because it's kind of magnety, I guess, and it matches the. I have changed the tier system to be a blue instead of that green color, and it just matches the overall theme of the game. Anyway, I'd like to thank you for watching this video. It really does mean a lot to me that you watch this, and I hope that you enjoy it. And if you're curious and want to play some of my games, Crosswalk the game is still active on the App Store if you want to play it, and I'll have a link in the description for that. And if you want to just follow the project in other ways, I am on social media. We have a Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter page, and the links will be in the description for those as well. Anyway, thanks for watching.